Now, talk about the giant of Africa having gigantic problems, and you start to get a sense of the challenges facing Nigeria's new president, Bola Tinubu. A day after his much heralded speech declaring an end to Nigeria's fuel subsidies, the country is suffering fuel shortages and panic buying of petrol, with queues forming at filling stations in major cities. So how is he going to confront that colossal problem and the smothering political fate that could potentially come with it? Will it overwhelm him as it has other presidents who chose to kick it down the road? Like the heavy brooding that precedes a tropical thunderstorm, there are also other problems hanging above Mr. Tinubu's head, waiting for the right moment to topple down. They include fixing the economy, getting a grip on insecurity, the debt burden, a lack of popular support, and pending legal challenges. Not to mention, on a personal level, the unclear condition of his health. So how will he wrestle with all these challenges? Well, one person who's campaigned heavily for President Tinubu and has stuck her neck out on his behalf is the lawyer, writer and activist Hannatu Musawa, who is the deputy spokesperson and deputy director of public affairs at the APC Presidential Campaign Council. And she joins me now in the studio. How nice to see you again.
Thank you for having me again on your show, Charles.
Long few days for you, I imagine?
Long few months for me. It has been. I've literally lost my voice and trying to regain it back.
Yeah, yes, you're breathing a bit of a sigh of relief now, though. Although the job, I suppose, is starting in a different direction.
Starting in a different way, exactly. Of course, one is breathing a sigh of relief because now, you know, the objective that we had started with last year with the campaign and everything, we won the election. We were declared winners of the election, which we won the election, and then now with the inauguration. And, you know, I am very, very happy that we've been able to reach this milestone. And now we're looking forward to what in the next coming days is going to be the unveiling of how President Bola Tinubu is going to, you know, lay his path, hopefully for the success of Nigeria.
Well, we hope so, don't we? But of course, here you are, you've got a new president officially sworn in yesterday, and then a few hours later, if you were hoping to top up your car with petrol, you've got an issue there with panic buying and queues at petrol stations. I mean, that's because President Tinubu removed fuel subsidy, so the euphoria of a new president, if you support him, replaced by the downer of artificial petrol scarcity. I mean, no one expected it would be delivered that way.
I'm not sure about that because I think it's only natural that there was going to be panic buying after he made the statement that subsidy would be removed. But I think the NNPC has taken it upon themselves to issue a statement saying that there is enough fuel. And I think in the next coming days, what you'll see is the new government coming down hard on those that are making it very difficult for Nigerians by increasing the pump price, because obviously they're not supposed to do that. And I know that the NNPC is taking it very, very seriously, and I know President Bola Tinubu is going to do so as well. Of course, yes, there was euphoria after the fact, but the fact that Bola Tinubu had the courage to come out and say that, you know, he was going to remove fuel subsidy, knowing that there could be this fallout that we're seeing, I think shows from the get-go that he's willing to take the risks that are necessary to give Nigeria the deliverables that they deserve. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to make the hard decisions. And I think from now, we can see that he's going to be a president that is going to make hard decisions, regardless of how it's going to play out, as long as it is in the best interest of the collective. And I hope that Nigerians give him that opportunity to see where this road is going to take us to. I'm hopeful.
Well, I mean, I think in principle, many people will agree with President Tinubu's move because it costs Nigeria billions of dollars, and Tinubu says that can be better spent elsewhere. And on a good note, from an investment point of view, markets have reacted positively to that announcement. But of course, you have inflation at its highest level in decades. So clearly, more price rises won't be popular, will they?
No, of course they won't. They're not going to be popular. And it is a reality that Nigerians are going to feel the pinch at the get-go. But in the long run, whatever decisions economically that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his economic team are going to make at this point is going to be in the best interest of Nigeria.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to interrupt you. I mean, it just sounds a little bit difficult to swallow, the fact that he just made the announcement and did not announce whatever palliatives there would be to cushion the effect of this, because the honest truth is that Nigeria's poor people, and I mean a significant percentage of this country are below the poverty level, have always considered the subsidy as their share of the national cake and a way to make survival in very difficult circumstances possible.
Well, of course, there's going to be other areas, like you said, the palliatives that's going to cushion the effect of this. This was a speech that he made yesterday. It's just over 24 hours. In the next coming days, you will see, or Nigerians will see, the areas that he's going to be able to sort of balance.
So he'll flesh that out.
Oh, he definitely, but was anyone really expecting him in that speech to flesh out what his policy is going to be?
He didn't have to say it then, did he?
No, but
I mean, he could have made the plan and then said, we're removing subsidy, but we've bought a whole load of buses, we've done this, we've done that, because look at the panic that it's causing in society.
There was nothing wrong with him making that statement yesterday.
Well, obviously it's had a knock-on effect.
Yes, it's got. We knew that there was a possibility for that. But even during the campaigns, he made it very clear that he was going to remove subsidy from the get-go. There was no secret to Nigerians that he was going to remove subsidy. But, of course, I understand that maybe many people were not thinking that he was going to make that statement yesterday. But he did.
Yeah, but
because he wanted a situation where he wants to show Nigeria that he's ready to take the tough decisions. And, of course, the panic buying in the last less than 24 hours has been quite unfortunate. But in the next coming days, I think the government is going to be able to regulate that from the point of view of the oil marketers.
Well, I mean, it would have helped if he'd said this is going to kick in at the end of June, because he just said fuel subsidy is gone.
Yes.
You see what I mean? If he had said by the end of June, this is when it's going to happen, and this is being phased out, and these are the reasons, and in the coming days, we're going to show you what we're going to do to ameliorate the effect. He never said any of that. The last attempt, sorry.
Okay,
so what
no, I'm just saying, yes, of course, he could say one thing or something else that people would have hoped. This was a speech that he had. I think there was nothing wrong with him making that statement. Of course, we didn't anticipate that the panic buying would be maybe as extreme as it is now. But like I said, and I mentioned earlier on, in the next coming days, between the new administration and the NNPC, we're going to see what they're going to do in order to be able to regulate that in a way that, you know, Nigerians wouldn't, especially the poor that you speak about, won't be, you know, at the receiving end, so to speak. It's just been 24 hours, so I think it's a bit too early.
Nevertheless, it's worth keeping in mind as you take office, your new government, that the last attempt to remove fuel subsidy in 2012 led to nationwide protests, which forced the government into a U-turn, and arguably contributed to that Jonathan government losing the election in 2015. So it's a controversial issue that requires lots of tact. And if you don't do that tactfully, people start having concerns about what your government is going to do going forward.
I mean, think Nigerians shouldn't really have concerns. The fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made that statement or declaration yesterday, I can guarantee you that he's already put in place that whatever he needs to put in place.
The palliatives.
Yeah, the palliatives and the different programs that will be able to cushion the effect of this. And like I said, it's just been over 24 hours. And in the next coming days, you'll be able to see that the information, we don't even have a spokesperson or from the presidency. So of course the information has not gotten out there. But I can guarantee you the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had made that declaration, already he has put in place a structure that will be able to help Nigerians cushion the effect of that decision.
I don't want to beat this to death, but I've got one more question on the subsidy, and we'll move on to other things. I mean, you must agree that it is ironic that President Tinubu was one of those who protested in 2012 when Goodluck Jonathan attempted to remove the subsidy. So it's a bit sort of perverse to see him now leading the move to remove the same subsidy that he protested against its removal.
Not really. Maybe the information that he had at that time, he was not in government. Now the information that he has had, based on the transition documents that was given to him from the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, these are what probably would have shaped his mind as to what he has to do. So the fact that he stood one way at the time he made that protest does not in any way factor into saying that he's taken a U-turn based on his antecedents or based on his principles. He has different information now, and I think for a long time Nigerians understand that subsidy has got to be removed.
Do you think he didn't have much of a choice? Because, I mean, the previous government said the subsidy that was put in place would last only till the end of June.
No, I think he did have a choice, and this was a choice that he made. I think his choice is factored based on the information that he has been privy to, specifically recently with the transition documents. I'm quite aware that a lot of his decisions, especially with the subsidy, is based on new information that he has come into light.
Well, we'll see what he does in the coming days. You've assured us that we're going to be hearing from the presidency, so we'll wait and see. But of course, you mentioned the fact that you haven't got an official spokesperson yet, beyond the rumors that are flying around from the presidency. But I imagine that they're lobbying for appointments. I mean, must be absolutely intense at this moment. And I mean, I understand that even people from the Buhari administration have been looking for positions in this new government. I mean, how do you see that playing out?
Honestly, I have not seen any of that play out. I mean, what I have seen are rumors in the media about positions. I don't know whether that is part of the process of the lobby, but I have not been even in quarters where I would see that play out. But what I can tell you is no matter what lobby is happening where, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima have a set of ideals that they want to follow, and they know what they want to do. Whether they have divulged that to anybody or not, I do not think so. I think most of the speculation is just mere rumor or mere hearsay. But I know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu already has a set plan and clear plan in his head.
And do you see yourself in that plan?
Je ne sais pas. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know. I just, power comes from the Almighty, and I let God make the choice.
Yeah, but you've certainly moved ahead, though. I mean, you did that rather sort of interesting, some would say rather smarmy sort of the poems and all that sort of glorifying him, and his life and all the rest of it. I mean, it ran on Arise News, different channels, and then it ran again at the inaugural ball.
Yes, but it's going to run again from tomorrow for the next couple of months.
So you've certainly, if he hadn't noticed you before, he would you would have forced him to notice you.
Well,
this
I'm
time.
sorry to say, Mr. Charles, I did not write that poem for him to notice me. Just very briefly about that poem that we turned into a documentary, because I write poetry.
And I have read your poetry, and I have to say a lot of it is very good.
Thank you so much, yes. And, you know, during the course of the campaign, especially being the deputy spokesperson, a lot of information came to me about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed, or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which I wasn't really aware of.
Sure.
And then a lot of hearsay. There was a lot of mistruths in the media, and it was a struggle for us then to be able to confront a lot of this. And so I felt, why not use the information? And of course, you have to also remember, I was the secretary of the Presidential Screening Committee. So I screened Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I had a lot of the information on his childhood and his early political career and what have you. So I put all the information that I had together and used the art form of poetry in order to be able to express it so as to be able to reach a new audience. I felt that the traditional way of disseminating information became a little trite, and I wanted to be able to tell people about the Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I came to know, and also use that that process as a vehicle to also speak about his manifesto and what he wants to do for Nigeria, and that's what that poem is. But then, you know, I have a friend, Otumba Ajiboye,
who's sat where you've sat a number of times,
and vociferously fought with you across the
he's
table.
Actually a friend. I rather like him as a person.
Yes, of course. So, you know, he suggested that we make a production of it, and rather than writing the poetry and printing it, making it in print, and so that we make a production and put it on television. And it seems to have gone down quite well, to the extent that I was asked to perform it at the inauguration.
Well,
so,
I mean, obviously, if you're someone who supports him, then it would.
Yes.
It's.
And if you don't support him, you have an opportunity to learn about him.
Yeah, learn about him from someone who is already prejudiced on his behalf.
Not really prejudiced. Like I said, I was the secretary of the Presidential Screening Committee, and a lot of the information that I wrote in that poem was information that he had sworn an
Well, I mean, to be fair, never mind the content of it. I mean, I thought the production was quite good.
Thank you.
But what about his health? Because many people believe that Mr. Tinubu is a man not in the best of health. They see him in that worrying tradition of aging Nigerian leaders who end up commuting between Aso Rock and hospital beds. How can you reassure Nigerians that, given concerns about his health, he's got the job, he's up to this job in hand, or is winning the presidency possibly going to end up being, and hopefully not, a poison chalice?
No. The fact that people have concerns doesn't make their concerns a reality. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is as healthy as you and I, probably healthier than me. I'm around him quite a lot, and I see the sort of energy that he has. And again, I go back to the fact that I was the secretary of the screening committee, and part of that process was to evaluate the health status of some of our...
He didn't give you his health sort of certificate,
we did ample investigation. I'm not going to say the investigation that we did, but of course you had people writing petitions about certain people's health and what have you. So it was impungent upon us to go and do that extra investigation. And as far as I'm concerned, we cleared Bola Ahmed Tinubu because he was healthy at that point. And on top of that, we did an extremely vigorous campaign. I mean, for the last 6 months or 5 months before the election, we were literally in different states every day, and I went with him for a lot of those campaigns. And only a healthy man is able to exert the kind of energy that I saw him exert.
You didn't see him doddering around the stage?
No, I didn't. I saw him jumping around. No, he danced a lot, and he danced quite well. He is as healthy as any other healthy human being can be. And I honestly think it is even rather cruel and unfair for anyone to just label him. And I really do think...
Well, people are concerned about it, and the concern is greater now because he's got this mammoth responsibility. I mean, there's so many things he's got to deal with to make this country better and make the lives of people better, that people want a president who's got the vitality and the energy to do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
People are concerned about it, but some other people are not. You have to remember that there's a number of people who voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu knowing that there are rumors about his health and what have you. Those people that voted for him have confidence in the fact that he is able to, to carry this mandate through. And of course, for any human being, you can be healthy today and you can be sick tomorrow. I mean, nobody has on health, nobody has the monopoly on being healthy. One could have been skeptical about the health of candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar or Peter Obi as well.
Right.
But the fact that one has concerns about that doesn't make it a reality. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was cleared by a panel. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was voted by a number of Nigerians, got the majority votes. And I think that should give those that have concern the peace that this man has the health status or the ability to carry out this mandate. There is no way, Mr. Charles, I would have supported Bola Ahmed Tinubu if I didn't think that he was healthy enough. And even you speak about my poem. There's no way that I would have even used my intellectual capacity to put pen onto paper and write what I did about him if I didn't think that he could do the job, because I love Nigeria more than I love anyone else.
Well, obviously it depends on the information that's available to you. But let's park that for the moment. This is a country, as I said in the intro, stung by criticism about its low level of female and youth representation in government. President Tinubu saying that women and young people would feature prominently in his administration. What are your hopes in that direction, or your expectations?
I know President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to include women and youth. He said it throughout the campaign, and he said it in his speech. He was very, very measured in the way he spoke about including women and youth in his administration. And even beyond that, you can see the way that he engaged women. I was one of the first people that he gave an appointment to, and he gave me a very big role. There were very many women, even within the campaign structure, and even since he's won his elections, since he's won elections, almost all the committees that he has set up has been populated by about 80% women. He empowered a woman to become deputy DG. He encouraged a woman to stand as governor. We have, I think, about 2 deputy governors that are women, and he continues to encourage women. And if you go around him, even when he's talking about policy and everything, he's always asking how it's going to affect the women and the youth. And you can see how he even empowered his wife to play a very active role in the legislative tapestry of Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man that completely believes in the ability of women not just to perform, but in the necessity of women to be part of governance, because it is only when we are part of governance we can inspire other women to be part of it, and we can make policy through a woman's eyes.
Well, these are very reassuring words, but now we've gone past the stage of words to action, so we need to see all those things happen. But I want to thank you very much indeed for coming in and speaking.
It's been very short.
You think so?
Yes.
We've had you for half an hour.
Can I say?
That's a long time.
Yes. Can I say very quickly? I just want to send my prayers and thoughts to the family of Chief Raymond Dokpesi that we lost yesterday. A great national treasure. I lost my father recently, so I know what grief is like.
And our condolences to you as well.
Thank you. So I send my prayers and wishes to them, and I hope that younger Nigerians will look at what he has done for Nigeria and emulate him and continue to promote his legacy.
On that note, thank you very much indeed.
Thank
the
you, Mr.
lawyer,
Charles.
writer, activist Hannatu Musawa, who is the deputy spokesperson and deputy director of public affairs at the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you very much indeed.